I thought this week was even better than the week before. Even really, the scoreboard doesn't show a lot of points on the board. I thought, we played faster, we played more physical. Defensively, we really pursued the ball and got a lot of hats on the ball. Offensively, they didn't really give us a chance to really get a deep ball on us. So, we did get the one to Manny, across the middle. I think that's 20 yards, but not the real deep ball. But we stayed patient, got the run game established, again in this game. So, yeah, I was pleased, this week, especially just being able to establish that run game, being able to stop the run with the three-man front, in our defense as well and take away their pass game. So, very pleased with the way the kids played this week. Yeah, because we were able to stop the run game with it, and if they weren't going to, if we weren't able to do that, we have to get to a four-man front, and it really opens up some of their passing lanes that they try to throw to, in their pass game. But it was big for us. Those guys were able to get in there and handle them up front and stop that run and also keep the quarterback contained for the most part of the night. I do. I thought they did a good job of, containing the quarterback, especially keeping him in the pocket. He didn't really get out, that many times and scramble around and make a play. And when they did run the ball, I thought they did a great job of keeping, they didn't make a lot of tackles in it. They allowed our linebackers to go make plays, which is keeping, the offensive line occupied. But I think that's probably one of their best performances, so far this year. I think it's just the growth, starting to mature a little bit. Really understand the speed of the game. Really understanding what we're trying to do defensively in that secondary. The communication has really improved, amongst that group. And I think it's just the continued work that they have through the week, these last few weeks of, a lot of different routes, a lot of different, things coming at you and getting used to that speed. But, I think it's just the maturity of them. They've grown, and also getting Jaimin back's a big part of that as well, because he really adds a different element, to our defense with his aggressiveness and his ability to cover man-to-man. I think it's the group as a whole. I think, the backs are starting to see things a little bit better, still missing a few holes here and there. But I really think it's, even getting Matt back this week, was huge for us just because he brings another, his physical nature while he plays, really amps up, the offensive line as well and that run blocking. But I think it's just they're getting comfortable with one another. They're starting to feel the double and when to come off the double team and get to the next level, who's going to overtake the double team. And that just takes time. And, I just think Coach Bryant's done a good job with that group of preparing them each week for the looks they're going to get and those guys believing in it and then practicing hard each week through practice. And, I think, them as a whole have gotten better. Still got a few things to work with our backs, just seeing things, trusting things a little bit more. Because there's a few times where, it probably goes 60, 70 yards. They just trust the block instead of cutting back. We went into this game with a play count for him, and it's going to be, probably 20, 25 plays max. But we kind of played it let's just see how he feels as the game goes on. If he starts looking bad or, he's slowing down and he's not physical anymore, let's pull him and put somebody else in. But he never gave us, any inclination in that game that he was hurting or tired or whatnot. So, it's still going to be week to week. He's still going to be limited in practice on what he does. But it's just going to be off of how he feels. If we feel like he can't get the job done and he's hurting, we'll put somebody else in there. I think he's just physical. He's just a physical kid. He's got the mentality, that he's going to beat everybody every single play. Sometimes he's too physical and too aggressive, that he actually misses the block. So that's something we got to kind of rein him back. I'd rather rein a kid back than try to put it into a kid. But I think that's just what he brings. And he's a great route runner as well. He can catch the ball. He's got good speed. So to me, if we get Budke to be a little more physical in the blocking game, Jacoby to run a little bit faster in his pass routes and more physical, that'd really help us, in the long run, because now we can give Matt the rest that he needs to be great in the fourth quarter. But, just Matt's presence on the field just brings, he's a team captain as well, just brings another, a little bit more leadership on the field to make us better. The block has really done a big thing for him, up front. He's actually getting the ball and just going straight downhill instead of making a cut in the backfield. I think that's his biggest improvement so far is he's actually making the cut at the line of scrimmage instead of in the backfield, and that's why he's been so successful these last few weeks. He's got his shoulder pads down a little bit more. I still need to get him down just a little bit lower just so we can break some of those tackles and get some long runs. But I think it's just him exploding with the ball when he gets it in his hands and not taking time to read things, just finding the hole and hitting it and going. I try not to pay too much attention to that. Stay on the bus until it's time for me to actually get on the field. That way I don't have any heckling, because I'm not good at the heckling part of it. But I usually just try to, keep to myself, until after the game, and then, go in the locker room with our players and stuff and those type of things. But, I still got a lot of buddies that still live there, so that's not really much different. We always talk a little bit and just how things going, talk about life. But there's not really. I mean, I just try to stay uninvolved as possible and until the game starts. Then I get pretty involved. I think so. I think last week you saw that just at our stadium alone, having almost 7,000 people there, and just the noise that was, from our crowd and the fans cheering us on. Even though this is going to be another group of fans cheering somebody else on, I think our kids feed off that energy. So I think it will help us. We're going to turn the music up loud this week in practice just to get kind of used to the noise. But I think our guys like it. They're always up for a challenge, and they want to try to silence the crowd, and that crowd never gets silent no matter what. But I think our kids really do feed off those type of things. I think, offensively, it's just hearing the cadence, and getting the snap count. I think it's the biggest part. Everything else is signals. And, really it's probably more for offensive linemen, especially if the defensive line or the linebackers start barking out things as well, and they think it's our quarterback. But it's just really tuning in to Chance's voice and hearing his voice. As receivers and running backs, you should just be seeing the ball being snapped anyway. Eventually with your front line, just making sure that they hear Chance's voice, and that's all they listen to and focus on. And I think if we do that, we'll be fine. They're good. I mean, their defensive linemen is probably one of the best D lines we've seen, all year long. Very physical up front. Got some linebackers that run really well. Play some man coverage. They got really two really good corners that can man up anybody, I think. Secondary and their safeties are very talented as well. They do a good job of just taking things away from you, whether it's the run or the pass. They always try to outnumber you. And I think it's just because of the man coverage, the way they do it. If somebody rolls across, there's not a lot of bumping. It's a guy following to make sure that they have enough people, on that side of the ball to take care of it. Then offensively, I mean, it's offense we haven't faced, in quite a long time. And, you're going to get two tight ends, you're going to get two running backs. It's going to be veer option, play action off of it. And, and it's going to be linemen and all, in a 4-point stance, coming after you, trying to cut block you. So I think those are going to be the biggest, things that we really got to work on this week and focus in on is getting out the ball, getting some penetration, trying to cause havoc in the backfield. Linebackers not getting cut, and safeties getting ready to get downhill and make plays, but not get beat by the play action deep. So, but then they'll spread it out too, give you 2 by 2 and throw the ball around too. So really, our defense has to prepare for two types of offenses this week. So that might give us a little bit of trouble, but with us doing a lot of spread in practice, our defense should be used to it. Well, right now it seems like that. One guy's the option guy, one guy's they're going to throw the ball, but heck, this week they might change it up on you. The other guy might be the run guy, and the other guy might be the pass guy. But for the most part, when you're watching film, it seems like that's kind of how it works. So hopefully they stay true, and our guys recognize that and are able to play the game. And the guy that's passing, hopefully we get some picks and get some sacks, and when they run the ball, hopefully we can hit them hard enough to cause some turnovers as well. So, but it's two offenses, two different quarterbacks, and they just got to prepare.